The drama between Sutton and Crystal continues on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's the beginning of the end for Erika and Tom, and major casting and filming updates from your other favorite Bravo shows. Hey everyone, welcome to another shared news from home. Welcome back to another Bravo weekly recap. We got all the things that happened in the Bravo universe this week, but before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Morgan Wright, joined today by the wonderful Zachary Reality. Zachary, we have a lot to get in, so let's just go ahead and dive in head first. Let's start with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Crystal and Sutton's drama, because it has only seemed to escalate over the past couple of weeks. So we ended the last episode. Sutton and Crystal were at odds over the prank gone wrong. Well, the two have another sit-down conversation on the boat where Crystal says to Sutton,
"You have shown me nothing, but you're an untrustworthy person. I don't trust being around you. I don't trust your reactions."
it feels kind of manic. Crystal further tells Sutton that she cannot deal with crazy people. Kind of harsh, right? How did you feel watching that conversation between Crystal and Sutton?
That was literally like crazy. The two of them are so like different. They're such polar opposites. They're also kind of on the outside of the Beverly Hills group. You know, Sutton was only a friend of last year. This is her first time with a diamond. Crystal is the newbie in the group. And it seems like they're really fighting each other and are at odds. And it seems like Crystal is coming out Sutton really hard. She's calling her all these names. She's kicking her in the car. She is kind of just like coming for Sutton, calling her untrustworthy. Like, that's just a little bit too much too soon. Like, I am on Team Sutton right now. I don't understand why Crystal's coming for my girl like that.
Yeah, so Sutton goes on to blame her erratic behavior on leaving her forever home, right? Sutton apologizes for projecting her emotions on Crystal. And although Crystal accepts the apology on the boat, it doesn't seem like they're still vibing. What did you think of Sutton's apology and her reason behind her outburst being the fact that she's moving?
Well, I don't think her outburst had anything to do with the fact that she was moving. I think Sutton is just very sensitive and she is just kind of fragile in general. Maybe she was going through a few things, but you know, that is Sutton. We've known Sutton for over a year now. She's a little kooky and I appreciate her for it, but clearly Crystal does not. When Sutton went to confront Crystal on the boat, it seemed like she was just trying to make amends. You know, she was being very mature, taking the high road. And Crystal was the one smirking and laughing at her and not taking it seriously. Sutton was just trying to find resolution and move forward. So I am, like I said, I am Team Sutton. I wish that Crystal would just give her a break. They barely know each other.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting because the whole feud started with the conversation in the basement, right? Where they were talking about racial experiences and Sutton kind of cut Crystal off. And I do feel like it probably would take some time for Crystal to get over that conversation because it did trigger her and affect her pretty
Mhm.
deeply. However, I do agree with you that all Sutton really wants to do, in my opinion, is move forward. So I feel like maybe Crystal should extend a bit of an olive branch if Sutton really is meaning what she's saying. I mean, she'll find out eventually. They'll either reconcile and be great friends, or they will realize that they're just not meant to be. So later that night, the ladies have a sit down dinner, and Crystal decides not to attend. It's at that dinner that Sutton apologizes to all the ladies for acting strange and says that she wishes Crystal was there to hear. What did you think about Crystal skipping out on the dinner? Do you think that she should have gone?
I think she should have gone, but I don't think she skipped out entirely because of Sutton. As I just mentioned, Crystal is a new cast member. She's just getting used to being on the camera all the time and in front of all of these girls. So I think Crystal was kind of just exhausted after a long weekend. This is their first weekend trip as a cast. So I think it was more of that situation and that she just needed some private cooling down time, especially after the past few days arguing with Sutton. They've been at odds. So I don't blame Crystal for wanting to take a night off, but remember, she has a full-time diamond. We need to see her at her best and at her worst. So I think that if she wants to carry that full-time diamond and be on this show, Crystal needs to be showing up to every single dinner.
And we do finally see Crystal again at the very end of the night to tell everybody good night. And she ends up talking to Kyle on the couch about a new problem that that nobody really saw. At the end of the last episode, we did see Sutton go give Crystal her coat, right? Crystal was in her room. It was very late at night. Sutton was up with Kathy and Kyle. They were drinking. And Sutton's like, you know what? I'm going to go give Crystal back her coat. It was intentionally supposed to be like a peace offering. You know what I mean? But Crystal was very weirded out by it, is what she said. She had just taken a shower. She said she wasn't like clothed in her pajamas, and Sutton just barged in. Now, Kyle's point to this was this happened 24 hours ago. So why do you think Crystal brought it up now of all times?
I think it was really bothering her, and I don't think Sutton should have went to her room to begin with. It was after a certain hour at night. Like, you shouldn't be going to anyone's room. Everyone's adults. Everyone has their own room. So I think Sutton was wrong for kind of barging into Crystal's room. And I feel like Crystal is just getting her footing in. She's a new housewife. She's not super close with all the girls. She just met all of them a week or two ago. So maybe she doesn't know which housewife she can turn to, confide in. Of course, it ends up being Kyle. Everyone always confides in Kyle. She truly is the center, the glue of the franchise of Beverly Hills. So I'm glad that she finally spoke up, but she was probably afraid to make it a bigger issue than it already was, because Crystal just doesn't seem like she likes confrontation.
So the next morning, we do actually see Crystal and Sutton talk about it. Let's take a look.
I was just giving your coat back, you know?
But I mean, like, if someone like drops on the ground and covers their body, you
I'm
don't like
so
stay in
sorry.
the room. And then you said something like, "What are you doing over there?"
Thoughts? I mean, wow. I feel like we're both like deer in headlights. I mean, that's how I was watching it the first time around. But what did you think of this exchange, Zach?
Now, I do feel for Crystal here. As I mentioned, Sutton should not go into someone else's room who is an adult after a certain hour. If somebody came into my room and I was naked, I would be mortified too. I'd also probably lock the door and say, "Don't come in." But maybe Crystal didn't get to say that in enough time. I don't really know if Crystal is overreacting or not, just because it is what it is. It's not like the cameras were in there, but I feel like Sutton needs to just like why couldn't she just leave the coat in the living room? Like, what was the point? She could have got it the next morning.
Yeah, I feel like Sutton probably wanted to like rush to try to fix things between Crystal and herself. And I feel like that's kind of what she was trying to do. Now,
Mhm.
I do find it kind of feel bad for Sutton in this, because she did knock, and it's not like she said, "Don't come in." She didn't just open the door. She knocked, she waited, she was like, "Crystal," and then she like peeked the door open. I think it really comes down to just a difference in personalities. Zach, there are some people that would be embarrassed about that, especially if you don't know this person.
Mhm.
I'm somebody who would probably be embarrassed, but also laugh it off. I wouldn't feel as sensitively as Crystal is in this situation. But I think what I come to my realization here is that there are things that both of these women are sensitive over, right? But they, for some reason, can't seem to look at it from the other person's perspective, which I think is where they kind of run into issue and butt heads a little bit. So I have to know. I mean, I think you already explained it, but if you had to pick Team Crystal or Team Sutton.
Team Sutton all day, every day. I love Sutton last season. She was such a kooky character. I'm really liking her this season, but I also feel like Sutton is the one that is trying to make amends and be mature about the situation. And Crystal is just hiding in her room and crying and, calling Sutton all these names, which is like, it's not funny. Like, Sutton does not like to be called names, Crystal. So I am Team Sutton right now. I'm really looking forward to the leather pants episode we're going to get in a few weeks. And I still like Crystal, so I'm totally going to give her a chance throughout the rest of the season. But right now, I am firmly Team Sutton. What about you?
Yeah, well, you mentioned Crystal calling Sutton names. She does kind of say something a little bit jarring to Sutton as they wrap up this conversation about the jacket. Let's take another look.
I just felt sort of like my space was violated
I
a little
get
bit.
it.
It was weird, and
Well,
so
it was weird. I did knock.
It was so creepy and weird.
Oh,
And
I'm
then-
sorry. I don't mean to be creepy.
Yeah, see, like everything just comes out a little harsh from Crystal. And I feel like
Yeah.
it probably did start, with that conversation in the basement, which, let's be honest, would take more than a day for someone to get over, or 12 hours for someone to get over,
Mhm.
especially when this is the first time that they're really in close contact with each other. It's their first cast trip. It is how it's going to go. But at the same time, what have we learned over the past 24 hours about Sutton is that she's very sensitive. So calling her creepy and weird is not going to fix the situation between the two of them any quicker. So I don't know, Zach. There are certain situations where I'm Team Crystal. There are then certain situations where I'm Team Sutton. But I think at the end of the day, over the past 2 episodes, I have seen Sutton try to move on. I haven't seen Crystal try to move on. And maybe it's just
Mhm.
going to take her a little bit longer. I don't know. But the drama does not end there because we got more drama with Erika Jayne. And Zach, you're going to tell us a little bit more about this bombshell within the last 2 minutes of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, so Erika Jayne, she sent a text message to Lisa Rinna, Dorit Kemsley, and Kyle Richards. She put them in a group chat, basically telling them that she is getting divorced, that she filed for divorce just a couple days after the Lake Tahoe trip. And it caught a lot of the girls by surprise. They did not see it coming. Kyle Richards did reveal that on Watch What Happens Live that she may have had a feeling that something was off with Erica in Tahoe, but the girls were still very shocked. Morgan, what were your thoughts on the text message? Why did she only send it to those housewives in particular?
Yeah, well, she's definitely the closest with those. I feel like everybody else has either been only 1 or 2 seasons. Um, just shocked as well. I thought it was very interesting that she sent it at 9:15 in the morning. She must have been lined up outside the courthouse ready to file at 8 a.m. You know what I mean? Like that was the first thing on her agenda that day. I will say that I'm a little annoyed with the way that they edited it because it was building, 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 building for like 45 seconds of a bombshell at the end where I wanted a little bit more than that. But that is typical Bravo editing.
Mhm.
They give us a teaser, then they put it in the last 2 minutes of the episode. And I mean, I guess it works because I'm going to watch it unfold next week. Back for more.
Yeah, well, that's what they do. In all reality TV, they always have to keep a teaser so that everyone gets excited for next week. And I think that Erica had to tell the girls that she was getting divorced because it was going to be public record and it was going to come out in the press. So I think she really wanted to let them know right before it became world news, which is definitely going to be happening in the next couple of weeks at Beverly Hills, because we know that Erica's divorce is going to be playing out in the press. We all lived it a few months ago when they were filming. So it really is perfect timing that the Beverly Hills Housewives was filming during that. And now that it's airing, we're getting to see all of the tea and see what really happened and see Erica's dynamic with the rest of the ladies. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so while we have to watch to this play out on our TV screens, there's some exciting news on some of our other favorites that are currently in casting and filming. Zach, let's talk about the Real Housewives of Orange County because the rumor is
Mhm.
that some former housewives could potentially be returning to Orange County for the past couple of seasons. That franchise has really struggled, so much so that, when season 15 wrapped up, Andy Cohen himself said on Twitter that it might need a whole entire reboot.
Mhm.
Now, Zach, you and I have had many discussions about all the Real Housewives franchises. So I know your opinion on this, but I want you to tell our lovely viewers at Shared News what your thoughts are on the Real Housewives of Orange County. Is a full reboot needed for this franchise?
A full reboot is mandatory for this franchise. If this franchise wants to continue, they need to bring back some of the most iconic Orange County housewives that there ever was, with Gretchen Rossi, Heather Dubrow, Tamra Judge, dare I say Vicky? I mean, she was very iconic on the show. What we got last season was a complete mess between Kelly, Gina, Emily, that other girl, no one even knows her name because she was so irrelevant
Elizabeth.
with the exactly. At least someone knows her name. Like Orange County has truly gone down so low. It's become the worst franchise ever, in my opinion. But it still is higher rated than Dallas, so it can't be the worst one overall. But it's definitely been suffering the past few years. And I know that a revamp is coming. So who could they possibly be bringing back from the past, Morgan? Let me know the tea.
Okay, so last season, like you said, we had Emily, Gina, Bronwyn, Kelly, Elizabeth, and Shannon. They did have a pretty big drop in ratings for season 15, which had fans begging for a cast shakeup. And it seems like we're going to find out who will be on the next season sooner rather than later. This was posted to Queens of Bravo. It is a comment on Instagram by Kelly Dodd. One of the Instagram users asked, "Did you leave the show?" And she responds and says, "You'll find out in a week," with the heart eyes emoji. The heart eye emoji, I think, says it all, Zach. Do you think Kelly Dodd is
Mhm.
in or out?
Kelly Dodd is in. She does not want to leave the Real Houses of Orange County. She is living for it. She loves it. She also is a very controversial figure on the show. I mean, she has been involved in racial problems. She said horrible things about LGBTQ, about COVID restrictions. I mean, she is such a mess, and a lot of people do not like seeing her on TV because of that. But a lot of people love watching her on TV because she is a complete train wreck and she has no filter. I am not a fan of Kelly Dodd, but I love watching her on TV. So I hope that she's there. And this emoji is giving me a hint that she may probably be there.
Yeah, I agree with you. She is like the hot mess express, but every franchise I think needs a villain, and Kelly
Mhm.
Dodd is the villain of the Real Housewives of Orange County. Now, there are some rumors floating around that some previous OC housewives may be coming back. The first being Heather Dubrow, who left in 2016 because of
Mhm.
Kelly Dodd's antics. Zach, were you a Heather Dubrow fan when she was on OC?
I love Heather Dubrow. I think she is the quintessential housewife that we want. She is rich, she is opinionated, she is a hardworking, independent woman and a good mom. She has a funny relationship with her husband. She's not afraid to call out other women and get involved in drama. I would love to see her back on OC. I think that she would bring such life into the show that has truly died out. You mentioned she did not want to film anymore because of her problems with Kelly, but that was a long time ago. I feel like people move on, especially when there's many years past, and then sometimes they're like, "All right, I guess I'll film with this person again." So I hope that they bring Heather back because I would love to see it.
Yeah, people do move on, but also when there's more money involved, that would be
Mhm.
easier for Heather to want to film with Kelly Dodd again. Some of the reports online are saying that the franchise needs to bring back the original fan base, which is why they're trying to maybe bring some previous cast members back. So not only Heather Dubrow, but also rumors of Tamra Judge coming back to the Real Housewives of Orange County. I have to be honest, Zach, when Tamra left, I wasn't upset about it. She said that she was offered a friend of role. She didn't want to take kind of a demotion, so she decided to leave. However, now that she's gone, I do miss her, and I'm really having to swallow my pride in saying that because I kind of made a spectacle when Tamra left. Do you want Tamra to come back?
I do want Tamara to come back. Now, last season she was on, I really did not like her. She was the villain. She was so manipulative, playing both sides. She was such an instigator and then always found a way to like play victim as well. I mean, she was messy and evil. However, I feel like she really humbled herself in a way that Vicky did not, who also got fired from the show the same time Tamara did. And I feel like Tamara has kind of reinvented herself over the past few months. I've been following her on social media, so I would love to see her back. I think she really brought a lot of fun drama into the show as well. And she is an OG. So if she can come back and Heather can come back, I know Gretchen will not come back if Tamara comes back, but I think that would be really iconic and a good show if we could get that back. Also, we do know that Tamara had this huge feud and fallout with Shannon Bedore. So if Tamara can go back on the show, we can maybe see a little bit more of that dynamic because that was juicy.
That was juicy, and we never got to see any of it. We really only saw Shannon's side on television. Tamra would, of course, go on Instagram and spill her side of the story, but it's not the same as being on Bravo. Now,
Mhm.
I want to jog your memory, Zach, because I don't know if you remember this, but there was one interview with Andy floating around the internet where he said, "We're not done with Tamra. Tamra, you
Mhm.
haven't seen the last of Tamra." So I really do think that she's going to be one of the ones to come back. Like they said before, bring back the original fan base. I think this is a genius move. Both Heather and Tamra, I think, will be just amazing to have them back on our TVs. And we're going to find out in about a week, which is really exciting.
Wow.
Also exciting
Mhm.
news, Vanderpump Rules is finally filming for season 9. Zach, it feels like we
Mhm.
have had to wait forever to find out what was happening with the Vanderpump Rules. Why don't you fill us in
Mhm.
on some of the updates?
Oh my God. So Vanderpump Rules is filming again. They took over a year off because of COVID and because of the whole messy situation with Stassi and Kristen and Max and Brett getting fired. If you guys don't remember, over a year ago, a lot of the OG cast was fired because of their past racist actions. And it also made a huge controversy with the show, which had to cause them to not be in production for over a year, as well as the fact that none of the restaurants were open because of COVID. But now life is bringing back into Los Angeles, back into West Hollywood. So they are filming again. They have been filming for the past few weeks. They have been filming in Palm Springs, Valley Village, where a lot of the stars live. I almost said contestants, but this is not The Bachelor. They've also been filming at Tom Tom. They were spotted filming at Tom Tom. So Lala took to her Instagram with a little Q&A to reveal some behind the scenes of what filming has been like without the OGs, Stassi, Jax, and Brittany. And Lala replied, "It is weird. I miss them so much." Morgan, what do you think the show is going to be like without all of the OGs? A huge chunk of them won't be on the show anymore.
It's going to be very different. I mean, there's no two ways about it. The fact that Jax Taylor is not going to be on this season of Vanderpump. I mean, love him or hate him, he was one of the main staples in Vanderpump Rules from the beginning. You know, he never ran away and took a season off like Stassi did. You know, he has been at the center of most of the drama. So it's going to be different. I'm just curious to see where the drama is going to come from. Now, I think it would have been different regardless of if Brittany and Jax and Stassi and Bo and even Kristen were to stay on this show, because they're in different points of their life now. You know, they've all bought these big houses. They all have babies now. And I've talked a lot with my girlfriends about this. It's like, the main reason why we like Vanderpump Rules to begin with was because they were all broke, poor waitresses working in a restaurant, having drama with their friends. It's like now they're rich and famous and don't need to work. So the show has changed so much. So I'm excited for this in the sense that I think it's going to be new and fresh. We're going to see new cast members. Hopefully they still work at SUR and they're on the waitress or bartender salary. But I also am really excited to see the Toms. I love them so much. They're my favorite Bravo bromance of all time. And I love Ariana and Katie as well. So I'm excited. But you have more on maybe some of the changes we're going to see, maybe some new cast members.
So rumor has it there are 5 new cast members joining the show, and the first person to join is Ryan Matley, who is a previous actor in the Netflix documentary Reality High, and he is also a former cast member of Are You the One? Another new cast member joining is Jesse Montana, who is a longtime friend of the OG cast. He's been featured on many episodes throughout the years, as well as there is a new waitress at Tom Tom named Melissa, and 2 new servers from SUR named Jessica and Mia, who are models. So we are going to get some new blood here. But do you think it's going to be like last season, Morgan, when there was such a divide between the OGs and the new people? Or do you think it will be more integrated this time?
I hope they have learned their lesson, because last season was harder to watch than previous seasons because it felt like they didn't mesh, right? It kind of felt like we were watching 2 different shows in one show. So I'm hoping that production kind of took note of all the things that maybe didn't work last year, the fact that they weren't really meshing. I mean, I feel like Dana was really the only one who was actually friends with Ariana, and even Sheena. But fingers crossed. Well, and Sheena loving both Max and Brett and anybody else. But no,
Everyone.
I'm excited. Do I think they should have made it 2 different shows? I feel like they could have. I feel like they very easily could have made a Tom Tom spinoff. I have wanted that forever, because to see Tom and Tom in a managerial role, kind of like the Lisa Vanderpump of Vanderpump Rules, I feel like it could have been a very easy segue to transition out of Vanderpump Rules since it wasn't working. But I will give them one more season. I'll give them a chance. If it was better than last season, then we will be good.
I wanted the Tom Tom spinoff too, or I would have liked to see the entire cast, move into their homes and have kids and have the weddings and kind of have like the Vanderbump vibe. Or the Tom Tom spinoff would have been great. And I think the reason we're not getting a Tom Tom spinoff is because Lisa Vanderpump is afraid to lose control. She's an executive producer on the show, and she has been for many years. So I don't think that she wants to give the reins to Tom and Tom, because I think she wants her camera time. So I actually think Lisa Vanderpump is the demise of Vanderpump Rules, because we know the show has gone downhill. That's just my opinion. We could easily have a Tom Tom complete new show, all new cast members. So it kind of seems like what we're going to get, Vanderpump Rules season 9, might be too similar to season 8, which was kind of a mess. So that's all I have to say on that.
Well, time will tell. It's supposed to air this fall. And I know that was so much, you guys, but there's so many exciting things going on Bravo right now. That's all we have for you today. Make sure you leave us a comment. There's so many things to choose from. Are you still or team Sutton? Are you excited to see Erika Jayne? And do you think she will be genuine in the next coming episodes about her divorce from Tom? Do you want to see Tamra or Heather back on The Real Housewives of Orange County? And are you excited to see Vanderpump Rules season 9? Make sure you say hi to us on our social media handles as well. They are on the screen now. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Ring the bell so you don't miss out on any videos. That's all we got for you. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.